Next speaker, Barb Rudollph. Good evening, council members. Barb Rudollph, 1675 Mount Vernon Street. At the risk of being a little bit too in your face, I challenge you to tell us that citizens' bills for water usage and personal property taxes are anywhere near accurate or consistent. Now, I'm not really bringing up a new issue here, but I just want to look at it from a different angle slightly. But just to mention that the water bills, it's commonplace that the amounts are far greater than people's historical pattern of consumption. I mean, we hear that a lot. And the personal property taxes, there's an issue with having divided it over two halves in the year, that they're delinquent charges being affixed that are wrong. I'm sure that all of you have heard some of this from your constituents. So I'm not here to belabor that tonight. So, and we have been told several times that this is all being fixed and to be patient. So I'm not gonna dispute that. I'm gonna start from the assumption that all of this eventually will be fixed and it'll get better. But there's still a big problem that we haven't really talked about that I would really call the elephant in the room. With this pattern of overcharging, which I know I've personally experienced for over a year and a half, how are citizens who have paid too much, how are they able to recover the difference between the initial and the corrected bills? Now, you would probably tell me that person can go to the appropriate office in City Hall and work with staff there to correct the bills and receive a credit or some other type of adjustment. But has it occurred to you how many people cannot readily access this remedy? That is, making a personal visit to negotiate with their city government, because that's really what it's come down to. Some have simply given up after months of questionable bills and the inability to get answers via phone calls or online. Some don't know where to start to figure out what they should be charged in order to make an effective case when they do interact with the city. And some, perhaps quite a few more than many of us can imagine, simply can't make it to City Hall to spend hours and maybe multiple visits to engage in hassling with the city. What about citizens in the military who have to deploy? What about citizens who lack transportation to come downtown? And we know there are quite a few like that. What about single parents with multiple children to care for? What about the elderly and the infirm? What about people who are trying to make it by working several jobs and don't have any time to take off during the workday? Those people are falling through the cracks. And now my question to you is, what are we doing about it? I believe that we deserve a thorough answer on how the city is going to reach out proactively to citizens who've been overcharged and ensure that no citizen is financially damaged because of inaction by the city. It's so wrong for the city to adopt an attitude of if someone wants to correct it, they need to come to us, meaning us being city government. Please show us that you have some compassion and concern for the many people in Petersburg who don't have the know-how or the ability, for the reasons I've mentioned, to come to the city for help. Thank you.